The wind carried red dust across the silent valley of Mars. The ground was cracked, lifeless, yet something ancient lay hidden beneath the surface. A group of human explorers stood near a strange formation of rocks. Their helmets reflected the faint glow of the setting sun. "This place feels wrong," one of them muttered, adjusting the scanner in his hands. The machine beeped rapidly, picking up something unusual beneath the soil. Another voice answered through the comms. "Wrong. Or important," they began to dig. The ground was hard, packed with layers of stone, but soon their tools struck something smooth. Metal. It was dark, older than anything they had ever seen, and too perfect to be natural. "What is this?" a young scientist whispered. She brushed the dust away and revealed curved lines running across the surface. Symbols no one could read shimmered faintly under the Martian light. They cleared more of the object. What they uncovered looked like part of a giant machine, buried for ages. Strange pipes, broken frames, and a massive core that seemed lifeless, yet heavy with hidden power. "Looks alien," one of the explorers said flatly. His voice carried a mix of fear and awe. The leader of the team bent closer. "It's not just alien, it's old, very old, and someone wanted it hidden. Far beyond Mars, unseen eyes were watching. In the darkness of space, a hidden alien vessel recorded every movement. The crew of the ship spoke in harsh, trembling tones. They found it. Too soon," another alien hissed back. "Impossible. That device was buried long before their species. Even learned fire. How could humans uncover it now?" The first alien shook his head. "It doesn't matter. If they touch it, if they repair even a fragment, the balance will break." Back on Mars, the humans worked with urgency. The scanner showed faint energy readings, as if the machine was not fully dead. "Wait," one scientist said, pointing at the core. "Do you hear that?" They froze. A soft hum drifted from the metal, low and steady, like the heartbeat of a sleeping giant. "Is it alive?" another whispered. The leader narrowed his eyes. "Not alive, waiting." The explorers set up camp around the discovery. Floodlights cut through the Martian dusk, illuminating the strange machine. The air was filled with tension. Every few minutes, someone would glance nervously at the core, half expecting it to move. "This thing shouldn't be here," the young scientist said again, breaking the silence. "What if it's dangerous?" Her partner replied quietly. "Everything about Mars is dangerous. This is just another mystery, and mysteries are meant to be solved." She didn't answer. Her eyes stayed fixed on the glowing symbols. They seemed brighter now, responding somehow to the humans' presence. Far away, the alien vessel sent a message into the stars. Across the galaxy, leaders of distant empires received the news. "The humans have found the warp drive." The reaction was immediate. Panic, fear, anger. One voice echoed in the grand chamber of a council world. "They must not touch it. That drive was forbidden even to us," another voice thundered back. "Then destroy them before they understand what they hold." But not everyone agreed. A quieter, colder voice replied, "If they can rebuild it so quickly, perhaps they are more dangerous than we thought." On Mars, the human team prepared to transport the Discovery back to their orbital station. Machines lifted the broken parts, placing them carefully into cargo containers. The young scientist hesitated before closing the final crate. "Do you feel it?" she asked softly. Her colleague frowned. "Feel what?" She touched the metal surface with her gloved hand. "Like it's watching us." Before anyone could respond, the machine pulsed. A sudden wave of blue light burst from the core. The explorers stumbled back, shielding their eyes. "What the hell was that?" someone shouted. The glow faded as quickly as it appeared, leaving only silence. The hum grew louder, steadier, as if the machine had awakened from a long sleep. The leader raised his voice, steady but shaken. "Secure it. We're taking this to Earth. Whatever it is, it's not staying buried any longer." Above them, In the hidden alien ship, alarms rang. The crew stared in horror as readings spiked. They activated it, one alien whispered. His face turned pale. The humans woke the core. The captain of the vessel slammed his hand on the console. Send word to the council. They must understand. This is the beginning of the end. Back on Mars, the humans packed their discovery and prepared for launch. None of them spoke, but every one of them felt the same cold truth. They had touched something forbidden, something not meant for them. Yet as their ship rose into the dark sky, carrying the broken warp drive home, a strange sense of destiny filled the air, and far beyond the solar system the galaxy held its breath. The cargo ship drifted through the silent void, carrying the broken alien machine inside its sealed containers. The human crew avoided looking at it, though it sat locked behind heavy steel walls. Its low hum had not stopped since Mars. Instead, it grew louder, like a distant engine warming up. One of the engineers sat in the control room staring at the monitor. "You hear that, right?" he asked quietly. His captain didn't look away from the stars. "It's just in your head. Machines don't hum without power." The engineer frowned. "Then why does it sound like a heartbeat?" Silence hung in the cabin. No one wanted to admit they heard it too. By the time the ship docked at Earth's orbital station, news of the discovery had already spread. Scientists rushed to the landing bay, eager to see the artifact for themselves. As the containers were unloaded, a small group stood apart, watching closely. Among them was Dr. Reeves, the head of experimental physics. "Open it," he ordered. The workers unlocked the crates. Cold blue light spilled out, painting their faces with an otherworldly glow. Gasps filled the room. The broken warp drive sat in silence, cracked and incomplete, yet somehow alive. Strange markings pulsed faintly on its surface, as though recognizing the new environment. Dr. Reeves stepped forward. His eyes were wide with awe. "We are looking," he whispered, "at proof we are not alone." The room erupted in excited voices, questions flying faster than anyone could answer. But Reeves raised his hand. "No touching. Not yet. We need to study it carefully." Despite his warning, humans were not known for patience. Within hours, scanners were sweeping across the device, capturing every detail. The data shocked them. The material was not ordinary metal. It bent energy, twisted gravity itself. A young technician leaned over the console, disbelief in her voice. This is a map. The structure is designed to fold space." Dr. Reeves turned sharply. "You're saying this is a drive faster than light?" The technician swallowed hard. "Not just faster, instant." The room went still. For a long moment no one spoke. Then Reeves smiled faintly. "Then history begins today." Far away in the dark reaches of space, the Alien Council received new reports. Images of humans scanning the warp drive appeared on glowing screens. The council chamber filled with anxious voices. "They are too fast," one alien cried. "They should not even understand its surface, yet they study it like it belongs to them." Another shouted, "Destroy Earth before they rebuild it." But one of the elder leaders raised a hand. His voice was low, steady, and cold. "Watch them. Fear makes us foolish. If they can truly awaken that machine, perhaps the humans are not a race to be crushed, but a race to be prepared for." Back on Earth, the experiments continued. Scientists crowded around the massive machine, arguing, drawing diagrams, testing small components. "This part here," Reeves pointed at a cracked chamber, "must be an energy stabilizer. If we repair it, the core might power up." "But we don't have the original material," another protested. Reeves smiled. "Then we'll make something better." Day after day the team worked. Sparks lit the laboratories, machines hummed, and prototypes failed again and again. But failure never stopped them. Humans were stubborn, and the mystery only made them more determined. One night, as the others slept, the young technician remained in the lab. She stared at the glowing symbols across the warp drive, tracing them with her eyes. Something about them felt familiar, not in language, but in logic. "It's like math," she whispered to herself. "It's speaking in math." Her fingers flew across the console, translating the symbols into equations. The numbers lined up perfectly. It wasn't alien magic. It was just advanced engineering. She laughed softly, shaking her head. "It's not impossible. It's just waiting for someone to solve it." The next day, she presented her findings to Dr. Reeves. He read the equations twice, then looked at her with stunned eyes. "You realize what this means?" he asked. She nodded nervously. "It means we can fix it. Within a week, humans built a replacement stabilizer forged from alloys of their own design. It wasn't identical, but it fit. When they placed it into the broken chamber, the warp drive responded. The symbols glowed brighter, and the hum turned into a deep, steady pulse. "Step back," Reeves ordered. His voice trembled with both fear and excitement. The machine came alive. Light burst across the lab, filling the air with a storm of blue energy. Tools rattled, monitors flickered, and the floor shook as though the universe itself had shifted. Then, just as suddenly, it calmed. The warp drive stood silent again, but now it was awake. Reeves whispered, "It works." For a long moment, no one spoke. Then the room erupted in cheers. Some laughed, others cried, unable to believe what they had done. Humanity had rebuilt an alien warp drive in a matter of days, but their joy did not go unnoticed. In the shadows of Earth's orbit, hidden alien ships watched. Their captains spoke in urgent voices. "They repaired it," one hissed. "In less than a cycle, they made it whole again." Another voice replied, heavy with dread. "No, not whole, stronger. They are not copying us. They are improving it." The first alien trembled. "If they succeed, no world will be safe." Inside the human lab, Dr. Reeves placed his hand gently on the surface of the machine. It pulsed under his touch, warm and alive, as if recognizing its new masters. He looked at his team. "We are standing on the edge of the future. Today, humanity has taken its first step beyond the stars." And somewhere, hidden in the black sea of space, alien eyes burned with fear. The council chamber of the Xiran Dominion trembled with anger and fear. Holograms of alien leaders flickered across the vast room, each face twisted with unease. "They rebuilt it," one leader growled, his scaled fingers curling into fists. "The humans should not even understand its surface, and yet they made it live again." "They are reckless," another hissed, her eyes glowing with rage. "They do not respect the laws of the stars. If they continue, they will unmake everything." A third voice, colder and sharper, cut through the noise. "Do not mistake recklessness for weakness. In less than one rotation, they solved what took our ancestors centuries. These humans, they are dangerous." The chamber fell silent. No one wanted to admit it, but the truth was spreading like fire. Humans were not supposed to touch the warp drive. They were not even supposed to know it existed, yet now they were on the path to wielding it. "Then we must act," a commander barked. "Destroy them before they can rise." But the leader shook his head slowly. "Strike too soon, and we may fail. And if we fail, we awaken a beast far worse than the warp drive itself." Whispers filled the chamber. The vote was divided. Some demanded war, others demanded patience. But one thing was certain. Fear of humanity had now spread across the galaxy. Back on Earth, the laboratories buzzed with restless energy. Dr. Reeves stood over the warp drive, his face pale but determined. The machine glowed steadily, as if it had finally accepted its new home. A young scientist broke the silence. "We shouldn't rush this. We don't even know how it truly works." Reeves turned to her, his eyes sharp. "And if we don't? What happens when someone else comes? Looking for it? Do you think we were the only ones who knew it was buried? Her mouth went dry. She hadn't considered that possibility. The technician who had cracked the equations leaned forward. We're not just fixing it anymore, we're improving it. It's responding to our technology. Reeves nodded slowly. Exactly. This is not only an alien device now, it's becoming ours. The hum of the machine deepened, vibrating through the floor. It was no longer the sound of a broken relic. It was the heartbeat of something alive, something waiting to be unleashed. That night, as the team argued over their next steps, a shadow moved above the Earth. A small alien ship hovered in orbit, its cloaking field hiding it from human eyes. Inside, 2 alien officers watched the blue planet spin below. "They are testing again," one whispered, pointing at the readings on his screen. The other's voice trembled. "How are they moving so fast? They should be centuries away from this understanding. They learn because they refuse to stop," the first replied bitterly. "Give a human a locked door, and he will break it down. Give him a puzzle, and he will solve it, or die trying." On the surface, the human team prepared a bold experiment. A small test craft had been fitted with the repaired warp drive. Its pilot sat inside, strapped tightly to the seat, his hands shaking slightly on. "The controls," Reeves' voice came through the radio. "Remember, the goal is only to activate the drive for a few seconds. Do not push further." The pilot laughed nervously. "Easy for you to say. You're not sitting on top of alien lightning." The countdown began. Scientists held their breath, staring at the glowing core that now pulsed at the heart of the small ship. 3, 2, 1, engage. The ship vanished. Every monitor in the lab screamed with data. The warp drive folded space, tearing the craft out of orbit. For a few terrifying seconds, the ship was nowhere. Then, in a flash of light, it reappeared on the far side of the solar system, near the orbit of Neptune. The pilot's voice came through, shaken but alive. "Control, do you read me? I think I just jumped across billions of kilometers in a blink." The lab erupted in cheers. Some clapped, some hugged, others simply stared in disbelief. Humanity had done it. Faster than light travel was real, and it was in their hands. But not everyone celebrated. In the shadows of orbit, the alien ship recorded everything. "They succeeded," the officer whispered. His voice was heavy with dread. "They have the drive." The captain closed his eyes. "Send word to the Dominion. The humans have crossed the threshold." Meanwhile, back in the lab, Reeves silenced the cheers with a single raised hand. His expression was not joy, but concern. "Listen carefully," he said. "We did not just take a step forward. We just announced ourselves to the galaxy. If this technology exists, others will know. And when they know, they will come." The young technician spoke softly, fear in her voice. "Do you think they'll come to welcome us?" Reeves looked at the glowing warp drive. Its hum steady, its light calm yet powerful. He shook his head slowly. "No," he said, "they'll come to stop us." The room grew silent. Each scientist felt the weight of his words. Their victory was real, but it carried a shadow. Somewhere out there, unseen eyes were watching, waiting, and fearing what humans might become. And deep in the galaxy, alien warfleets stirred. The control center was filled with tension. Every eye was locked on the massive screen that showed the test ship floating silently above Earth. The repaired warp drive pulsed with blue light inside its core, steady and strong. The first test had been a success, but today was different. Today, they were attempting something far greater. Dr. Reeves stood in front of his team, his face pale with exhaustion, but hard with determination. "Today we push the limits. No more short jumps. We attempt a full mission across the stars." A murmur swept across the room. The idea was both thrilling and terrifying. The pilot's voice crackled through the comms. "So where exactly am? We're going dark. Jupiter again. Reeves shook his head. "No, beyond Jupiter. You will jump to Proxima Centauri." The room went silent. Even the pilot stopped breathing for a moment. "That's 4 light years away," he said finally, his voice unsteady. Reeves nodded. "Exactly. If this works, humanity will have crossed the gulf of interstellar space in seconds," the young technician whispered. "And if it fails?" Reeves didn't answer. His eyes stayed fixed on the glowing ship. In orbit above Earth, the alien spy. Ship recorded everything. The crew spoke in hurried, fearful tones. "They are insane," one hissed. "They do not crawl step by step. They leap. They cannot succeed," another muttered. "No species has ever rebuilt the warp drive." So quickly, but even as he spoke, his voice carried little conviction. On the ground, the countdown began. 3, 2, 1. Engage! The ship vanished. The monitors screamed with chaotic readings. Space itself bent and twisted, tearing open like a wound. For one heartbeat, the ship was nowhere. For the next, it was 4 light years away. The pilot's voice came through the comms, shaky but alive. "Control, do you copy? I'm here. Proxima Centauri. I see a red sun burning outside my window." The room exploded with cheers. Some laughed, others cried, unable to believe what they were hearing. Humanity had just crossed interstellar space for the first time. The pilot continued, his tone filled with awe. "Stars, planets, it's all real. We can reach them. We can reach everything." Back on Earth, Reeves raised his hand to quiet the celebration. His voice was steady, but his eyes betrayed his fear. "Bring him back." Seconds later, the ship reappeared above Earth, its surface glowing faintly from the strain of the jump. The pilot stumbled out, his legs shaking, but alive. He looked at the team and whispered the words that would change history. "It works. It really works." The humans erupted again, but their joy masked the storm gathering in the galaxy. Across the stars, entire empires shook with panic. News of humanity's leap spread faster than light itself. Alien rulers who once dismissed Earth as primitive now watched in silence, their fear heavy and cold. On a distant world, an alien leader slammed his claws on the council table. "We must strike now! If humans can reach the stars, they will spread like wildfire." Another councillor hissed, "Do you not understand? They rebuilt the warp drive in weeks. Weeks! We could not do that in centuries. If they can leap across stars today, what will they do tomorrow?" Silence followed. The answer was too dark to speak aloud. Meanwhile, in the human lab, the warp drive pulsed stronger than ever. Reeves stood near it, his mind racing. "We must keep this hidden," he said to his team. "If the galaxy learns too soon, they will fear us, and fear leads to war." The young technician frowned. "What if they already know?" No one answered. That night, as the world celebrated humanity's leap into the stars, the alien spy ship sent a final transmission back to the Dominion. The captain's voice was grim. "They have done it. The humans now hold the warp drive. They can cross galaxies, and they will not stop." The reply came minutes later, cold and final. "Prepare the fleets." Back on Earth, Reeves stood alone in the lab, staring at the machine. He could hear its hum deeper than before, as if the device itself knew what it had unleashed. He whispered into the empty room. "We thought this was our discovery. But maybe it's our test." The warp drive glowed in reply, silent and patient, as if waiting for humanity's next step. Far above the Earth, in the endless sea of stars, war was already coming. The world was still celebrating humanity's first leap to another star when the signal came. It wasn't human. It wasn't random. It was a message, clear and deliberate, carried on waves of energy no one had ever seen before. Dr. Reeves stood in the command center, staring at the decoded transmission. The symbols were strange, but the meaning was unmistakable. "We come in peace." The room filled with voices. Aliens. Actual aliens. They know about the warp drive. Should we respond? Reeves held up a hand, silencing the room. Prepare a reply, but be careful. If they reached out now, it means they've been watching. 2 days later, a ship appeared at the edge of Earth's orbit. It was sleek, silver, and curved like a blade. Human satellites picked it up instantly, and panic spread across the world. Military forces scrambled, but Reeves convinced the leaders to hold back. They said peace, he reminded them. If we attack first, we may start a war we cannot win. The alien vessel drifted closer, then stopped. A moment later, a voice filled the human channels. People of Earth. We are the Seraph. We come with friendship. We come to share knowledge. The words were calm, almost soothing, but something about the tone made Reeves uneasy. He watched the broadcast carefully. Notice, he whispered to his team, they do not ask, they claim. They come to share knowledge, not to learn. The Seraph delegation landed the next day. Their forms were tall and slender, their skin pale silver, their eyes dark pools that seemed to swallow light. They wore flowing garments that shimmered like water. Humans gathered to greet them. Cameras broadcasted every second to billions watching across the planet. The alien leader stepped forward, his voice smooth and commanding. We congratulate you. You have touched the stars. Few have achieved this. We wish to guide you, so you do not fall as others did. Reeves stepped forward, forcing a polite smile. We thank you for your arrival, but understand, this discovery is ours. The warp drive was rebuilt by human hands. The alien's smile was faint, but his eyes were sharp. Of course, we only wish to protect you from dangers you do not, Yet see, the humans applauded, but Reeves's gut twisted. Something was wrong. Later that night, the aliens were given access to the research station. They walked calmly through the labs, their eyes studying every console, every chart. Reeves watched them closely. He noticed how their gaze always returned to the glowing warp drive. One of the scientists leaned close to Reeves. They're not here to guide us, he whispered. They're here to take it. Reeves nodded slightly. I know. The next morning, an alarm blared. Systems were failing, power drained from the station as if something was feeding on it. Reeves ran to the lab and froze. One of the Seraph was standing near the warp drive, his hand pressed against its surface. The machine's glow flickered, struggling. Stop, Reeves shouted. Step away from it. The alien turned, his calm mask breaking for the first time. You do not understand. This power will consume you. It must be taken from your hands. Reeves clenched his fists. Or maybe you just don't want us to have it. Security forces rushed in, weapons raised, but the alien simply smiled. The warp drive pulsed suddenly, blasting everyone backward with a wave of energy. Lights flickered, alarms screamed, and for a moment the entire station seemed to tremble. Then the glow stabilized. The Seraph pulled back, his expression unreadable. This is your warning. Do not use this power again. With that, the aliens withdrew to their ship. They promised to return, but their threat lingered in every word. In the silence that followed, Reeves spoke to his shaken team. Now we know the truth. They fear us. They don't want us to rise, and if they fear us, it means we're already stronger than they expected. The young technician whispered, What if they attack next time? Reeves looked at the warp drive, its light steady once more. His voice was calm, but heavy with resolve. Then we make sure we're ready. Far above Earth, the Seraph ship drifted quietly. Inside, the alien leader spoke in a low voice. They are not like the others. They do not bow. They resist. Another replied, Then what shall we do? The leader's eyes darkened. We prepare to strike. The humans will not be allowed to rise. Back on Earth, Reeves gathered his team in the dim glow of the lab. His words carried the weight of a coming storm. They will return. But when they do, they will find a different humanity. We're not just rebuilding their device anymore. We're building our future, and no one alien or otherwise, will take it from us." The warp drive pulsed in the silence, its hum like a promise of the battles yet to come. The sky above Earth split with fire. The Seraph fleet had returned, larger and darker than before. Their silver ships glowed like blades in the night, surrounding the planet in silence. Humanity had prepared, but no one could ignore the dread that filled the air. In the command center, Dr. Reeves stood before the screens, his jaw tight. "They've come to take it," he said flatly. The young technician's voice shook. "What do we do? They're ships. There are too many." Reeves didn't look away from the display. "Then we show them what we've built." The Seraph broadcast cut through every channel on Earth. The alien leader's cold eyes stared down. "People of Earth, you were warned. The warp drive is forbidden. You will hand it over or your world will burn." Gasps filled the room, but Reeves only leaned closer to the microphone. His voice was calm, but sharp as steel. "No, this is our discovery. This is our future, and we will not give it up." The alien's expression hardened. "Then you will be destroyed." Above Earth, the Seraph fleet powered their weapons. Blinding light gathered at the tips of their ships, ready to strike. Humanity's defenses seemed weak in comparison, but Reeves gave the order: launch them. From hidden bays across Earth and its orbit, human ships emerged. They were small, angular, patched together with old technology, yet each one pulsed with a glow the Seraph had not expected, the same blue light that burned within the warp drive. The alien commander froze. "Impossible! They copied it." A human pilot's voice filled the comms, steady and defiant. "Not copied. Improved." The Seraph fired first. Beams of energy rained down, slicing through the void. Human ships twisted and vanished, not destroyed, but blinking away, reappearing behind the Seraph fleet. The aliens spun in shock as their targets darted like ghosts across the battlefield. One Seraph officer shouted, "They're bending space mid-combat." Another cried, "It cannot be done, it's unstable." But the proof was before their eyes. Human ships moved faster than Seraph sensors could track, striking with precision. Explosions lit the dark sky as the invaders fell one by one. In the command center, the young technician whispered, "It's working." "They never thought we'd adapt this fast." Reeves's eyes stayed locked on the screen. "This is what happens when you underestimate us." The Seraph flagship tried to retreat, but Reeves gave a final order. A massive human cruiser, fitted with the strongest warp core yet, blinked into existence directly in its path. The Seraph captain's voice crackled across the channel, trembling for the first time. "You cannot control it. The warp drive will destroy you," Reeves replied. Coldly, "Maybe, but it will destroy you first." The cruiser unleashed a blast of folded space, tearing through the Seraph flagship. The alien ship fractured, its pieces scattering into the void like dying stars. Silence followed. One by one, the remaining Seraph ships broke formation and fled, their cloaking fields vanishing as they disappeared into the endless dark. Humanity had won. In the command center, the room erupted in cheers. People hugged, cried, and shouted, unable to believe what they had just seen. But Reeves did not smile. He looked at the glowing warp drive at the heart of the lab, still pulsing, still alive. The young technician approached quietly. "We did it. We beat them." Reeves nodded slowly. "No, we survived them. There's a difference." Her brow furrowed. "What do you mean?" He turned to face her, his eyes heavy with the weight of truth. "If the Seraph feared us this much, imagine what the rest of the galaxy will think. We didn't just defend ourselves tonight. We announced ourselves to every star." She was silent for a long moment, then asked softly, "So, what happens now?" Reeves looked back at the sky, where the stars burned bright and endless. His voice was quiet, but it carried across the room. "Now the galaxy knows. Humans are coming." The warp drive hummed deeper, its light filling the lab like a second sun. It was no longer just a machine. It was a promise, a warning, and a beginning. Far across the stars, alien empires stirred in fear. The secret they had buried for thousands of years now belonged to humanity, and humanity was not afraid to use it. For the first time in history, the galaxy was no longer safe, not from the darkness of space, but from the light of Earth rising.